Alright guys, what's going on? I was just going to wanted to show you guys the stock setup. Got a watt meter hooked up. I've tested the battery with just a normal DC voltmeter to make sure that the battery and that the watt meter are reading the same amount for the battery, which was 12.5. So hopefully we can see this good. Let me see if the light works better. Yeah, light works a little better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hook the battery up. I've already got the battery hooked up to the watt meter. I'm going to take the watt meter, I'm going to go ahead and hook it up to the speed control, but I was going to tell you guys the setup right now. Setup I'm running right now, and this is just stock. I went a little bit higher on the speed control. They recommend a 30, but I was reading a lot online that they really recommend a 40 or 50. Now I do have, grab it here, when my turbo outrunner comes in, I do have a, let's see, this is a Dynam 80 amp, and it's got a 100 amp burst, speed control. It's a beast. It's a heavy little boy. But when I get my new turbo outrunner coming, then I'm going to go ahead and throw this in and we'll do it all over again. But I just wanted to see what the stock setup was. So currently right now, guys, I'm running the 28-110 outrunner. It says operating power 375 watts, operating voltage 6 to 15 volts, operating current 25 amps, peak current 30 amps, 25, and kV 3600. So, and this is on a 28mm brushless outrunner. So we are going to check this. I'm gonna go ahead and get the battery hooked up. Got the receiver going, ready to go, set up. So let's do the test. It's loud enough that it cuts the speakers out, so I won't be talking during the test, but we'll kind of see what we got. The first one I'm just going to run up and let the watt meter do its job. The second one I'm going to run up a little bit, put it on hold, and then give it a pretty good throttle up and see what we can kind of top out at, see what we're pulling right now. I'm running the AR6210X, the new X versions of the receivers. It doesn't matter if you got an X or not an X. It's only if you're flying with like 40 plus other people on spectrums is the only time you got to worry about that. So we're gonna go ahead and test this out. Let me go ahead and get the battery hooked up here, and I'll pick it back up and we will do some testing. So 1 second here, guys, while I get this battery hooked up. Gonna kind of put my knee on it here so it doesn't take off on me. All right. Alright guys, we are hooked up. Now let's see. Now just at idle, the speed control is drawing about 3.2 watts on a 12.5 volt charge. Now I did not just peak charge this. This was charged probably 4 or 5 days ago. And it's drawing 0.3 amps, which is actually really good compared to what my other ones usually pull. So I'm just kind of moving the servos here, seeing what we're getting up to. Ooh, getting up to 6 watts on the servo. So, alright guys, we're going to go ahead and run it up here, and we will see what we get on the stock setup. And yes, this is the first time I ran. I'm going to give it just a couple small little bumps, set up nice and slow, and see what we hit at. Here we go. Alright, man, time to run it up. And that was jumping around a lot, so I'm going to have to actually go back and look. And you guys might want to pause and give me kind of the call out on what you saw in the video. I wasn't able to catch it and control it and keep the camera going all at the same time and catch the peak on that. So what I'm going to do here with this watt meter is I can just give it a little bit of juice. Okay, there we go. And then I just hit this blue button and put her on hold. Okay, and what this is going to do is it's going to go up to the highest amount it records, meaning that once it gets to the highest part and the high point, unless I go over that, it's just it'll stay. So we'll be able to get a definite reading on that. I'm gonna do a slow start out just like last time, and we'll see what we get. And then I'll do a from 0 throttle to full throttle and see what kind of burst we get. And I'm actually gonna do the 0 to full first. So we'll do that now. I've got it on hold, locked in. As you can tell, it just went to 41, and I can move it a little bit, and as long as I don't go above that, it stays there. So let's see what we get on a 0 to full throttle quick burst. Here we go. And we'll do one more time. So it looks like we were pulling on the stock setup with the stock motor, a 40 amp Dynam speed control, and a Sky Lipo 2200 30C pack, 3-cell. Looks like we ran on just the 0 to full throttle 472.4 watts at 40.5 amps. Average about 40.2 on that run, and the volts, it looks like it took it up to 11.75 volts is what it was sucking on that one there. So hopefully you guys can see all that info there. And that was with the stock setup on the Wings Maker X-35. So that was actually pretty good, considering that they describe it as running only about 375 around in there. So even after those two big runs and suck the juice out of the battery, the good beginning juice, I'm going to shut the hold off here, and we're going to go for a slow throttle up and a hold and see what we average at with the battery. So let me take the hold off. Alright, hold is off, guys, and it looks like we are running about 3.2 to 3.1 watts at idle. And let me see what the battery looks like. We still have a 12.4, 12.5 on it. Let me see what I'm reading here. And I'm reading 12.23, and I'm actually going to trust my watt meter before that little sucker right there that's running my numbers for me. So we're going to do another slow throttle up after the two without on the same battery and see what we get. Here we go. Hope you guys saw what I saw. I sustained easy over 500 watts there for a little while. Almost wish I would have had the lock on that one, because that was an awesome reading, especially for the third burst. So we're going to try one more quick one, and I'm going to put the lock on this time and see if we can bring it up slow just like that and see if we can break that 500 watt mark again. So let me go ahead and put the hold on. Alright, the hold is on, and I'll go ahead and set it here. Alright, we set it with just a little throttle bump at 28.8 volts at 2.4 amps. Now I only got about 11.99 left in the battery, so it is run down a little bit here. But we're going to do the same setup. I got it on hold, so its peak is what it'll stick at the end of this test. So let's try her again. Alright, 515.3 at 44.5 amps. And just to see if I can knock that out, I'm going to give it one last burst and we'll go from there, guys. Alright, now that should show you guys one thing, and hopefully this video posts and I don't go too long. That should show you one thing. A lot of times a good slow acceleration is going to get you a lot more power than just taking the stick from, you know, just a real slow cruising speed to just hammering it to try and get it up there. Yeah, it's going to get you quicker response, but you're going to get more speed from a slower acceleration. So that's what we're running at right now. Looks like we hit 515.3 watts at 44.5 amps with only 11.2 volts left on the battery, and not bad. I don't consider that to be bad at all. Like I said, running the this is the Exceed RC Proton 40 amp. I hope I didn't say Dynam. This is the Exceed RC 40 amp speed control. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that. I think it's going to be a great flyer. I got a little bit of a problem with a servo in the tail. I've got one that's a little twitchy. The one right over here has got a little bit of a twitch to it on the up and down and seems to kind of reset itself when I come back down. I'm not happy with that. I've got a bag full of digital Metal Gear servos, so I'm going to go ahead and pop both those servos out, put new servos in the back. But just wanted you to see what we were running on the Wingsmaker X-35 with the stock setup. Now that's with the stock fan, stock motor, and they recommended a 30 amp speed control as the base, the minimum speed control. I went ahead and just threw a 40 in it, but like I said, I've got an 80 waiting. So if you guys have any questions, comments, anything like that, give me a shout. Just getting ready to finish putting the top off on this with the I've got the turbo outrunner going in it. I've got the same speed control as I'm going to put in the X-35 here shortly, the Dynam 80 amp brushless speed control. I'll be putting that in this one here in just a little bit, and I'll be running the same tests on it. And last night I was pulling pretty close to the same numbers as those, almost identical. I think the X-35 actually pulled a little bit more watts, but just barely, guys. So we'll show you the difference in speed controls and what it can do, and what that. I will test the J10 one more time with the stock setup, so that we have a comparison on video of the difference between the stock and a new speed control, a new turbo outrunner, and taking it from a 3S to a brick 4S Sky Lipo. Let's see, 14.8 volt, 2650 milliamp, 30C burst. We'll be running this bad boy in the J10 with thrust vectoring. Just as soon as I swap out the, I gotta pull the fan out, swap out the motor, and swap out the speed control, and we'll go from there and see what kind of numbers we're running on this Wingsmaker model. But just wanted to throw the X-35 at you. Pretty sweet plane. I haven't maiden it yet because I don't trust that servo in the back, guys, and I don't take a chance. If a servo's not acting right, especially not a typical servo I use, I won't even bother with it. So hope this helped out. Any questions or comments, guys, just leave me a post, and